which is a trait. Because it's not to say that Tupac was a troublemaker per se, but it's to say that people didn't understand him and he questioned everything. Now, if you guys know anybody that has dealt with a narcissistic person or a person with bipolar disorder, even if it's just a trait, it can be difficult because you're trying to get them to listen for the best of their interest, and then you end up irritated because they're not listening. And then you realize you're trying to force a person to listen to you when it's your opinion and not theirs, and it makes you upset, then it makes them upset, and now you get what I'm saying, and it can be a very hard situation. A lot of them, what had they had in common was that he would just spaz, and he would go from 0 to 60 because something didn't make sense to him, right? Um, I talked about, well, that no one could get through to him, right? There's a interview out there somewhere. I tried to find this interview. It's been a lot of years since I've seen it, but Big Psych was in this interview, and he talked about trying to reach Tupac's spirit. He was trying to get him to understand that everybody not your friend, and that everyone does not deserve loyalty, because not everyone knows how to give that in return. And he said he just couldn't get him to listen. He said that his light was so bright and that he just really believed that he could have an impact on everyone he came in contact with. He just didn't understand. Like, for example, we talked about his trauma and the PTSD that I believe he suffered from, which created these personality and mental health disorders, right? Just touching on a few of them. In Marin City, which what some of that video talked about, where he struggled at, that he created some issues, and he was no longer welcomed in the city, but he would still show up. He just really still believed that they would accept him no matter what. And he showed up to that park. And even though Tupac wasn't directly the blame for it, he was still linked to it, that 6-year-old getting killed. And they blamed Tupac for that. You get what I'm saying? He could not see that. For some reason, his mind wouldn't allow him to see that he was considered the problem. He just didn't want to believe it. That's the narcissism we talked about, where a narcissistic trait is someone who only can see it one way, or for the most part, they're only so willing to see it both ways, depending on the mood or the setting, right? Like, for example, let me say this. I'm going to deviate just for